Hello, that's Bronson from bushcraftcanada.com. I'm going to do a quick video here on G1000. G1000 is the material that most of the Fjallraven clothing is made from, and I thought I'd just do a quick video. We get a lot of questions about it, so I thought I'd do a quick video just explaining what it is and what it can do. So G1000 is essentially a tight weave polycotton. 65% of it is polyester, 35% is cotton. Polycotton itself is a very durable material. Polyester is very strong, much stronger than most man-made fabrics. It has the added benefit that it doesn't absorb a lot of moisture too. So a tight woven polycotton with this, and if you get a lens and look at this material, actually you can see what a close weave it is. A polycotton like this is very comfortable because of the cotton. It's not too stiff, but it has a very high abrasion resistance and very high tear strength, so it's a good strong material. A couple of the big benefits of G1000 is its breathability as well. It's very breathable, so that's essential when you're looking at outdoor clothing, is that when you're working, when you're walking, your body's producing heat, your muscles produce heat, your body then produces sweat to cool yourself down, and because of the warm air that your muscles are producing around your body, you tend to get this warm moist air. When air heats up, it picks up moisture from the atmosphere. Then as you stop working and you cool down, the capacity of that air to carry moisture drops because it's cooling, and it tends to release liquid. And that way, if you don't get rid of that warm moist air, your inner clothing can become saturated with liquid, and then what happens is you cool down very quickly. You've stopped moving, your muscles are cooling down, and all of a sudden you have a lot of this moisture, and that, as we know, moisture, robs the body of heat. So you really start to cool down quickly, and that can be quite dangerous in certain situations and uncomfortable in others. So you want to get rid of that warm moist air. So breathability of clothing is very important. The other advantage of this kind of material is that it dries very quickly, and that's another thing that is overlooked in importance. A lot of natural materials, although they're very good and very comfortable, take a long time once they're saturated to dry. If you saturate this, it actually dries very quickly, because most of it is a polyester, which is not going to absorb any water. The cotton will absorb it, but because 2/3 of it is essentially not absorbing any water, it dries very quickly indeed. And that's, if you've got a limited time in order to dry clothing out, it's very useful. If it was all cotton or if it's all wool, once that becomes saturated, that is very difficult to dry out, so it takes a long time. So that's a very useful feature of it as well. In terms of its waterproofness, just on its own, a single layer of G10 will shed water. A light shower, that kind of thing, would be okay, but it will saturate and the water will come through. So what Fjallraven suggest is that you then use their wax called a Greenland wax, and that essentially, once you've applied it, saturates the fibres in the wax and also plugs all those gaps in the weave, so that gives you quite a good waterproofing. That will be very good for prolonged showers and rain. You do have to maintain it, and there are limitations to it. So if you're looking for something really waterproof, what I would suggest is some of the clothing they do is a double layer. And if you have 2 layers of G1000, the outer layer wax, that's a very good waterproof layer, and that will work very well. Just bear in mind that when you're waxing, you do lose the breathability of the garment, because basically you're sealing that fabric. So one of the best ways to do it, and one of the reasons that is quite a flexible fabric, is that you can tend to wax those areas of the garment that are likely to come in highest contact with the water and with your body. So that's hood, neck, shoulders, probably the arms down to the elbows, halfway down the back and front. And if you wax those areas, that will give you very good water protection from those sort of high risk areas, if you like, and yet leave the rest quite breathable, so you can get rid of this warm moist air. So it's actually a very flexible fabric. They do some excellent designs, Fjallraven, and like I say, the material itself is time proven. It's very good in the cold as well. In fact, a lot of the very high-end cold weather jackets have an outing of tight woven polycotton. The other advantage to it is it washes very well, and most fabrics you wear as an outerwear do need maintenance. particularly things like membranes, because they can become clogged with dirt and sweat. And polycotton is a very robust material and it washes very well, so it's worth considering the two. So overall, it's a very good material, very durable, very comfortable, flexible in terms of how you use it. You know, you can weigh up the pros and cons and make a decision on it. They do some very good designs, and like I say, I have lots of garments in it, and I like it a lot. It's very good. Fairly windproof too, because of that tight weave. And again, if once you're waxed, it's even more windproof. So there you are, that's just an overview of G1000. If you need any more information about them or any of the Fjallraven range, just can give me an email, paul@bushcraftcanada.com.